Hello and thank you for tuning into another episode of Brooklyn's World. In this episode we're going to delve into the world of lupus and self-care. When you have a chronic illness, or many as I do, feeling in the mood or feeling well enough to take time for your own self-care can be a bit of a challenge. This type of self-care is not the mundane day-to-day looking after yourself. Eating right, getting enough sleep, getting enough fluids, resting when you need to, taking medications when you have to. Those types of care things can mean life and death. Or you feel good, or you feel bad. What I'm talking about is self-care, when you really make an effort to do something for yourself. This can possibly improve your mood, reduce anxiety, and help you build a really good relationship with yourself, even if it is only for a short time. I find this type of self-care quite difficult because usually after a long day at work, all I want to do is come home, have a shower, a cup of tea and go to bed. Even on the weekends I can find this a struggle, as by the time I get through doing all the little jobs that I haven't been able to do throughout the week, I just don't have the stamina, the motivation or the energy. My motivation levels at times can be pretty low, but I do know, and I've proven it to myself time and time again, that if I do something nice for myself, then I feel like I've accomplished something, and then I can reap the rewards. A good self-care day for me is when I strip my bed of all of its linen and put clean, fresh linen back on the bed. And then at night I've had a shower and I've washed my hair, and then I jump into a sparkling clean bed and it just feels like bliss. Most days I really struggle to have a shower, as the whole process just completely exhausts me. Usually I'll be in and out as quick as I can and that's it. But there are days when I do decide that I'll have a self-care shower. And on those days I am in the shower for a lot longer and I do use a lot more products. And by the end of it, I feel wonderful. So some of the products that I've found that make me feel really nice while I'm in the shower this is one of my favorite body washes. It's the Lux, and it's the magical scent, and it does smell magical. If I don't use the Lux, I like my Dove foam wash with shea butter. This just foams up and that makes your skin feel really, really nice. When I think that I need a really good scrub, I've got my Dr. Teal's Epsom Salt body scrub. It does smell a little bit like lavender and it is a bit of an exfoliator as well. And then it's got the Epsom salts in it, which are meant to be quite good for muscle pains. And then for my face, when that needs a good scrub because of all the makeup that I have on it every day, my favourite is the St. Ives Blemish Control, the apricot scrub. That's the best one, I think. After a shower on these days, I like to use a moisturiser that has shea butter in it. Now, I don't know what it was about shea butter when I first discovered it, but it as a moisturiser is absolutely wonderful. It feels so nice and so refreshing. This is the one that I like to use. It's the Palmer's one, which just has the shea butter in it. And then it got me wondering, why is this stuff so good? Why does my skin like it so much? So I decided to do a little research on it. Another thing that I do like to do for my self-care, is have a bath sometimes. And when I have a bath, I basically make a little witch's potion that goes into the water, and I just sit there and soak and hope that it really does me some good. Now, I'll just show you at the moment. This is, so here I am, and you'll see this gown. Now, I got this gown from the hospital when I was first diagnosed with lupus, and as you can see, this pocket here is at the front, but it should be over here. So this gown is probably about 4 sizes too big for me now, but I just can't bear to get rid of it because it just brings back all of those memories, and it's nice and warm and snug. So I'll just give you a little rundown of all of the bits and pieces that go into my bath. Ready? The first thing that I like is a, what's this one? Body Shop green tea. Yeah, I don't feel like green tea today. Let's have plum. So plum will go in there. And then I'm also going to add some Epsom salts, good for the muscles. I'm going to add some Redox, good for the muscles and soothing as well. And then I'm going to add some Johnson's Junior bath and shower bubbles because I like bubbles in my bath. And I can never open the packet. And then I jump in, I sit back, I relax. I think I'll just watch some YouTube while I'm sitting there soaking for a while, and I'll see you in a little bit. So here I am, just having a soak, and I have to say this was worth every little bit of effort that it took for me to be able to get myself in here. So I'm back from my bath and my whole body feels so much more relaxed. In fact, I'm actually a little bit sleepy now. But that's okay. I'll just continue on throughout my day and hopefully I'll get a really good night's sleep tonight. One thing that is new with me is I've been diagnosed with a new disease, I guess you'd call it, which is gastroparesis. Now this means that my stomach has become paralyzed, so I'll go into that in a whole nother video, but basically my stomach is really sore all of the time. Now this is the first time that I have had a bath since I've had this diagnosis, and I really have to say that it did help. I think just not having as much pressure on my stomach has allowed everything to settle down a little bit, and I'm not in as much pain as I was before. So some of the other things that I like to do for myself personally for self-care is, well, there's a variety of things. Probably one of my favorites, and one that I can't do as much as I'd like to anymore just because of my lupus and everything else that comes with it, is going on road trips. So the road trips could mean just a day trip somewhere just to see something that I've heard about, or I just want to go and look at something, and then you never know really where I'm going to drive to. Half the time I get lost, but then I end up finding something when I'm lost at the same time, so that's good. And then other times I like to take myself away for the night or a couple of nights to somewhere. Now, I know that this is probably going to sound a little bit silly, but I do this and I tell myself it's to get away from myself. So basically, in my mind, I need to not be in my usual environment. I need to have a change. I need to be somewhere where I won't get distracted with all of my things that are around me or little jobs that I need to do. I just need to be away to relax, and then by the end of it I come back home again and I just feel wonderful and very refreshed. I also like to cook and experiment with recipes, and one of the most relaxing things that I like to do is do research and find a new recipe or a dish that is very old, and then either try to recreate it exactly how it used to be at the time when it was originally made, or put my own spin on it. Now from that, because I also like writing, which is another thing that I really like to do, I developed a cookbook. So just for anyone who hasn't seen it, this is my cookbook. It is called Brooklyn Creations, and it is basically a book of recipes. Every recipe has a bit of a history behind it, and then the recipe that I have either used or I have developed myself, and then a photo of what I created from that. I was actually quite proud when I made this cookbook. Originally, I started cooking as a tool for my hands. I thought that using cooking equipment would be able to assist my hands be able to get some movement in them and not be as sore from the fibromyalgia that I get. Now this did work extremely successfully, which is why I managed to have enough recipes for a cookbook, and I actually also have 5 other cookbooks that are ready to go and be printed, which are all different styles and types of cooking. I also love reading books, but my attention span of reading a book when I'm at home is very small because I get distracted very, very easily. So I save my book reading for either when I'm on a train or a plane, traveling somewhere, where I'm at an airport, at a train station, or if I'm staying away from home and I can just be able to be in peace, lie on the couch, lie in bed, and I can just read my book. My favorite kind of books are autobiographies, but I also like Jonathan Kellerman and all of the Kellerman series of books. I love to research things that I'm interested in, so at times that could be the cooking things. At the moment I've been doing a number of family trees, both for myself and for another relative, and the other relative wanted 3 branches of her trees. So I've done 4 full trees at the moment, and that was really quite interesting. Now with any research projects that I do, because pretty much all that I need is my laptop, I can do it anywhere. So if I'm having a bad day and I don't want to sit at my desk, then I can just set myself up on the couch, in bed, wherever I'm most comfortable, and I can just sit there, scroll through the internet, type, whatever needs to be done, and I can be comfortable and quite content for a long time. Because I have so many chronic illnesses, one of the things that I do like to do and find a real sense of achievement through doing is researching or finding new ways of being able to do things that can assist me with my everyday living. Now, when I find that, I go and get the product or try out whatever it is that I'm being told to try out, and then probably the most joy that I get is when I find something that works and then I'm able to share that with others. So basically it's a big learning circle, not just for me, but for other people who are similar to me as well. Probably the best lesson that I have learned through doing self-care and learning about my illnesses and learning to live with my illnesses, probably is more the point, is you don't have to be a warrior all the time and ask for help. I always used to be a person who did not ask for help, and I did everything on my own. I could have operations after operation. I would go home by myself, not that I'd tell the hospital that, but I would go home and basically I would look after myself for that entire time, however long it took for me to recover. These days, I'm not really into that. If I need help or if I want some company, and sometimes that's all that I want is just some company, I will ask for it. And generally, people are extremely obliging. And even if they only just assist you once, then I'm always grateful for that. And then for the people who are always there and will help whenever they can, then my gratitude is just enormous. And for those people, I will never ever be able to thank them enough for that. Thank you for watching another episode of Brooklyn's World. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that some part of this video has given you some inspiration or some hope or some ideas on what you can do in being able to care for yourself. Always remember, take care of yourself. You are the most important person. Don't forget to like and subscribe.